Uno
Hello,
mas.
stragglers.
Welcome back to another episode of the NerdVibed podcast. Today we have another movie review for all of you to enjoy and listen to with your ears. Today Jake has a review for you guys. I don't know how much input I'm gonna have, but Jake, what movie did you watch
I
this past weekend?
watched last night. Uh, I watched The Iron Claw.
And what is it about?
It is about um, the Von Erich family, which was a very well known I guess family dynasty of professional wrestlers. And it starred Zac Efron.
Hmm.
So
High School Musical.
yeah. I will just before I'm just watching him go from like High School Musical to doing more like serious like dramas is just such an awesome like arc, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because like when he played Bundy, I was like, whoa, like this guy's good.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, so I remember when it first came out, everyone was like, oh my gosh, this movie's so good, movie's so good. Didn't really pay much attention to it. Um, However, but what made me want to watch it was I've been slowly getting more back into professional wrestling. When I say that, it's not so much the product these days, it's more so just more interested in like I guess the inside behind the scenes, I guess you could say. Um so um I know a lot. It's I guess it's just absolutely ridiculous that it's like a sport that people just will just you probably the only sport in the world that will, and yes, I'm calling it a sport, the only sport that is looked so down upon, which is like so stupid. um and it's like the only sport that every fan has to constantly defend themselves as why they enjoy it. And I think it's just ridiculous. It's really stupid. Like I nobody should have to constantly defend why they enjoy something. It's just they just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And the those guys who do it are legit athletes who do get hurt. Like yeah, a lot of stuff is scripted and predetermined, but at the same time there's still risk of injury and guys do get injured. And I watch and this is how I watch The Iron Claw, is because there was there's a show called which spawned a bunch of shows like docu-series called Dark Side of the Ring, which spawned a whole like I guess documentary franchise, I guess, of like dark side of stuff. And so there's like Dark Side of Football, Dark Side of like Cage, meaning like UFC, all that kind of stuff. Matt will
Mm-hmm.
probably watch Dark Side of Hockey if that ever gets made.
There's a lot of dark side of hockey, yeah.
Yeah, they're probably um so I mean, for giving you ideas, guys, like
Yeah.
there's so much you can. But they did an episode about the Von Erich family, and when I watched it, I was just like, and I did watch it again after I watched the movie, which I will recommend people would do, because the movie like the movie takes its it's like it's one of those like it's not like full blown like accurate. It's more of like a inspired by a true story kind of thing, and not like a full blown, I guess, 100% accuracy, which a lot of people are kind of got mad about. But um, I think when it comes to like anything, whether it's like history or inspired by true events, it's like you can tweak things if it's for like the sake of good entertainment. Um, like if it's still enjoyable, then like and you can present it. It's like Gladiator is one of the greatest movies of all time, but that is no way historically accurate at
Mm-hmm.
all. 300, like you can go on just like movies that still are highly beloved and stuff, and but yet they were not accurate like at all.
Yeah.
But so So when I say so, if you plan to watch this movie, I would recommend watching the Dark Side of the Ring episode about it. Just if you want like more like in depth of like or more of like the actual history. Um, but yeah, so basically now I'll get into the movie. So it's about this family. Their dad, I think his name was Fritz. He's a professional wrestler. When I say this, I don't mean it in like that way, like the bad way, but like he pretty much grooms like all his sons. Oh no, he said it, even though it can mean different things. But he pretty much grooms his sons to being all professional wrestlers like him. And Zac Efron plays Kevin. He's the oldest, but he's the second oldest because the real oldest died young, and it's a theme with the family. Unfortunately, and it's basically about pretty much their lives, and there's not really much I can say. It's just pretty much like kind of like about their lives and in them as wrestlers. I remember when I looked up some like reviews about it after I was done watching it. Some pointed out that they don't really get into like just how famous they were at that time, and I did agree with that. That it's like they didn't really like in like it's kind of weird that was like in like the first half they cut to like a lot of like wrestling matches and stuff, and um then the second half there's just like not as many, so it was just more about just drama and stuff, and um so it's just basically about the family, and they're pretty much it's said that their family is cursed, and you know um so yeah, I would have to get into like the real. So in actual history there were six brothers, all well, not all of them, but five out of six all died young, and there's only one still alive today, which is the second oldest brother, who was like Zac Efron. It just, oh my god. I just three of them were they all took their own lives, and it's just like I could not imagine having to live with that. Just especially as the dad too, like having to bury five of your sons.
But yeah, that's
And
fucking rough.
three of them took their own lives.
Yeah.
And it's just the final scene in the movie is Zac Efron, Kevin, who plays Kevin, he watches, he has two sons, and he's watching the plane, and he just starts crying, and they're like, "Dad, what's wrong?" And he's just like, he's just like, it's nothing, don't see me like this, men aren't supposed to cry, because this was like set back in the day.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm not a brother anymore, and it's just like, oh. Like, it's so sad, but it, like, and when you look more, when you do more research about it, like, it's just what they show in the movie. Like, there was a lot more dark stuff that happened, and even in the Dark Side of the Ring episode, I didn't really get into it. It's just that whole family was just it's just tragedy after tragedy, and like it's really, and I'm really glad that Kevin is still here today, and he, cause I feel, and I know, and he doesn't let I'm glad he's still living, and he's still like, because I'm pretty sure losing five of your brothers would pretty much break anybody.
Right.
Especially like just so young, and like I said, like pretty much I think three of them took their own lives, and
for sure
that would break anybody, but he's still here, still kicking, enjoying life, and but it's just overall a good movie. It's not one of those, like, it's definitely one of those depressing sports movies instead of like those like feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, yeah, it's just it's just really, really depressing. um, there's just so much just drama and conflict, and there's like um Kevin pretty much he he's in like the movie, they like kind of hype it up like kind of like that sports movie, like I'm working hard to be, because that's something with professional wrestling, and it's all fake, but yet people still have to perform to show that they're worthy of getting up there in the ranks and stuff. And like he's like doing all this hard work and trying to get that push to be the number one contender for the heavyweight championship. And it goes to his brother. There's some conflict with that, and then I think there's a scene where he finally gets that title shot and he completely fumbles it by like putting the champion in the signature move, the Iron Claw. That's why it's called the Iron Claw. But and he just wouldn't let go, and it's just like at this point in the movie, like he lost like two of his brothers, so like he just was not in the right headspace to be being in that ring. Like it's just, but so it overall it's a really good movie. It's like I don't want to because it's just like because it's like I'm sorry that's not like much plot. It's just like because it's just something that's more like I guess realistic, that you just don't like here's the plot, like um it's just overall just about the family and hardships and trying to be the best wrestlers they can be,
Yeah.
um to impress their dad, who I thought in this movie was an absolute dick.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that wasn't the case in real life, according to Kevin, who pretty much, and this is something that also goes with this, with the anything like history or based on real events. If you get like someone who's like if you get someone who was like kind of like close to the events or was actually in the events described in the movie, and you get their like praise for it, then I think that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which happened with so overall it's a great movie, but it's a sad movie. It's not
Right.
a happy go lucky sports movie. This is like just rough. Like it's just I just feel so bad about just everyone in that family. It was just it's rough. But it was a really well acted movie, really solid movie. My only gripe was I think the heavyweight champion, I think they completely fumbled Ric Flair with their casting. I thought everyone looked kind of good. I think the guy from The Bear is, I think, one of the brothers.
Yeah.
But like they completely fumbled Ric Flair, and I grew up watching older wrestling, and so I knew what Ric Flair, and I always remember what he looked and sounded like, and I was like, this guy is not him.
Yeah. This guy's not Ric Flair.
He's not Ric Flair.
He's not Ric Flair at all.
He kind of did the woo pretty good, but it was like
that's probably the only thing they casted him for is
do the woo. Do the woo.
All you do is go in the room for the producers, and it's like, woo! It's like, okay, that's the guy. He's right there.
I love how Ric Flair is just so popular that everyone just knows the woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think they just with Ric Flair, it just looked nothing like him.
Do you think that's actually what they did? They just only went based off the woo.
No, it's just like that shit, like do the roar. It's just like do the woo.
Yeah, do the woo.
Woo! Yeah, do the woo in the strut.
Mister, we have him. He's a black woman.
Yeah, we got him, guys.
Her.
Yeah.
Ric Flair becomes a woman.
Oh, the woke is back.
Oh man.
Woke! I can do that all day.
Yeah.
I hope he does like a convention or something so we can all just go like, woo!
Yeah, with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
cool.
want to do that strut too, just like so good. But yeah, overall, solid 9 out of 10. Really good movie, really emotional movie. If you want to like, it's a good movie to learn about like kind of the insides about professional wrestling. And kind of the unfortunate thing is I remember watching the movie and hearing like names of other wrestlers that I knew, and I was like, ooh, I know that name. A couple of them are from Dark Side of the Ring, so I know there's a lot of tragedy, but yeah, it was a really good movie. I had a good time watching it. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It was actually
I was actually very miserable.
Yeah, it was really sad, but it was like a really good movie that I was just like, I didn't want to.
It did a good job, and it was very interesting to watch.
Yeah,
is what Jake means.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just joking. He got horny and joked off after watching it.
Yeah, I overall highly recommend. I would recommend if you want to like. It's just a really fast, just a really sad, tragic story that is interesting, and realizing like, yeah. So, yeah, I wasn't like disappointed or anything.
Right.
It's just after watching it, realizing the historical accuracies they did. Like, I think they kind of cut like one of the brothers out of the movie completely. Like, even though his story is like also kind of important, but But apparently they said like this just like, and they're like, yeah, we didn't want to have a scene with another death in the family. It's like, you've done it 3 times. Like, what's wrong with one more?
Yeah,
one more death. One more sad death scene. I think when I remember reading a comment on Reddit, and I absolutely agreed. Instead of a movie, it shouldn't have been like a mini series. So they couldn't have gone through like
mini series. Honestly, like mini series, just for some things, probably would work better.
Yeah. Yeah, like I thought
because movies don't justify it sometimes.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Napoleon movie because I know how badly the movie is and with, how much and they fumbled with the historical accuracy.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. But the miniseries was really good. So yeah, I do think a miniseries would have probably worked out better, and also I was also surprised to find that A24 made this movie, The Iron Claw, and I was like, wow, aren't you guys known for overrated horror movies?
Yeah.
But oh, surprise.
Wow.
But yeah, really good movie. Really got me my professional wrestling fix. Good stuff. Good movie. What I mean by that, good movie, but really set context. Yeah. I think that's gonna be it for me. Unless you want to add something.
Probably not. I mean, it sounds like a unfortunate movie. Obviously,
we might watch it together someday. Maybe.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, for next week, don't know if we will have anything for you guys necessarily.
We might have to talk about the Switch too.
Yeah. So as it stands right now, because this has to come out next week, they have revealed the new pre-order date, and we've talked about this. We talked about this in Animal Crossing episodes that have not come out yet. So we have already talked about this like a lot of times, because we haven't really been focusing on trying to do like a podcast at all until now. So we've talked about it. Just you're gonna have to wait for like episodes from now for Animal Crossing. But they revealed the pre-order date May 8th, which is a while away. They just really want to be sure with the tariff stuff and all that, I guess. So yeah. My mind has been all over the place
Me too. I don't know how.
If like the prices stay the way they are right now, I'm not really gonna be fond of doing it, but I think for me personally, for you it's obvious, like for you it's like obviously like a thing where you don't mind waiting because like you're not really like a hardcore Nintendo guy, obviously. But with me, it's like Mario Kart. I had so much fun with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and the new Mario Kart World game looks
3,000 hours over here.
fucking more than actually. Hang on,
Yeah.
it's a podcast I know, but I don't think I played it recently. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, it's risen. So nearly 5 hours, 5,000 hours. Actually, more than 5 hours, but so like I just the direct for Mario Kart 8 World, no, Mario Kart World is going to happen this upcoming week as of us recording this. I don't know if we'll do a video about it. We might, we may not.
My gripe with it. My gripe with the Switch 2 is just the monetization of it. It is just, I just find it absolutely horrible. I don't like that we are now with a console that has a button that's pretty much behind a paywall.
Yeah, it is obviously going to be free for a year, but you shouldn't have to force your buyers, like people who play your console, to force like them to
camera.
pay. Like, guys, you know Discord exists, right?
That $50 camera looks so bad too. It looks off. That like
What, the Prana plan?
Yeah, the
Dude,
friggin'
people loved it, and I love it too. But it's revealed that it's 480p quality,
yeah,
and it's like, all right, well, surely they're gonna use all these $80 game prices to help out with the video quality for the Prana Plant camera, maybe. So that was a little bit of a letdown, obviously.
I kind of have a hot take with this. It's just I'm kind of sick of people constantly defending Nintendo with this monetization crap. And I'm just gonna say, if this was any other company that wasn't Nintendo, everyone would be on the floor rioting. If this
People are rioting.
I know, but it's like, but you wouldn't have as many people defending it as people with Nintendo right now. It's just.
I think there would be more, from what I've seen online in general, PlayStation fans would defend this more than Nintendo fans. I think obviously there are a lot of Nintendo fans that are
they're
rabid, and I completely agree.
They're rough right now.
But honestly, like, I've seen like a lot worse PlayStation fans that don't shut the fuck up about the same shit, essentially. And also, we have the goddamn Steam Deck fanboys to deal with now, because they saw the success of the Switch, and they're like, Steam was like, hey, we should make the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, I think they said they're gonna make a Steam Deck too, and they're just gonna wait for technology to advance further or something like that. That's what they said. But
yeah, it's
just for me. It's just like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of decisions Nintendo made with the Switch 2, I'm just like not okay with personally. Yeah. That I'm just like, and when it's something that's just like, in hindsight, when like you're right with like PlayStation, because obviously when the Pro, I shit on the Pro like so much, and there will be guys who will be sucking Sony's throb about the Pro, being like, oh my god. But it's just with something with like Nintendo, it's just I guess they stand out more, I guess, because I remember like one video I watched where like the guy literally put side by side of someone's tweets of them crapping on PlayStation for like similar crap, but then the next tweet was with the Switch 2 and like, I'm buying Switch 2 day one, and it's just like, that's what I mean. It's just like, because like Nintendo's so beloved, it's just they kind of just let them do what they want, and it's just,
I'm not gonna defend Nintendo with what you brought up too, but there is a difference between the Switch and the Switch 2 as opposed to the PS5 and the PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
If you understand.
Yeah.
The PS5 Pro was barely a difference maker, but with the Switch 2 and the Switch, it's night and day, really.
Oh, for sure.
I think the console price itself is justifiable. I think 500 works
For the bundle.
500 just in general. Even if there was, no bundle and the console itself was 500, I think the price for the console that's a hybrid, by the way, is justifiable for a 4K handheld. I think that is more than
not bad.
Good.
Not too bad.
Obviously, I completely agree with the criticism that Nintendo is getting for the games themselves about being $70, $80. There's a misconception that games are $90. They are not $90.
I heard that too. That like physical games are going to be $90.
I think that's only just European.
Probably.
I believe that's only just European prices, and people just thought it was also US as well.
I remember just like there was like a whole like video about like the misconceptions about the Switch 2, and all the comments are just like they're just saying these just to crap on Nintendo. It's just like it's like some people probably have that bias in their heart that they want to just crap on Nintendo.
There are a lot of people like that.
But at the same time, it's also a case of everyone getting misinformation and just running with it.
Nintendo has not done a good job of communicating things well with this. Like for the GameCube controller that's going to come out, they said that it was only going to work on the GameCube games, but they have done the same thing with the NES controller, the SNES controller, all the other controllers that came out for that console on the Switch. All those controllers work well with the Switch original games, and they basically said the same thing for those games, which is like, yeah, this SNES controller will only work with SNES type games. That was not the case at all. You could play like fucking like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with an SNES controller just fine. So that was a misconception as well. And obviously, the price thing, people took another thing out of context, which is like, I forgot who it was, but someone went from Nintendo being like, well, we know people cannot afford the Switch 2, but that's why the Switch exists.
Yeah, I saw that quote.
And people,
just buy a Switch 1.
People, including me, when they first saw that, were like, okay, that's kind of not a good thing to say. But what they meant is they're still going to support the Switch for years. Yeah. They're not going to release Switch 2 games on it, obviously, but they're still going to release new games on it for years to come. So you're not going to get the full beneficial things of like Switch 2 games on the Switch, obviously, but you're still going to get relatively new games that are going to come out on the OG Switch, which is completely fair. Is it fair for the prices in some degrees? No, obviously not, but it's good on Nintendo that they are noticing that, hey, the new console does have a little pricey things. So we're still going to support the original Switch, the Switch 1, and me trying to be unbiased as possible, I think that's a really good thing, because sometimes if you cannot afford a new console, I never really had to deal with this, but there are a lot of people who couldn't buy the Switch when it first came out, couldn't get the Wii U. No one bought the Wii U when it first came out, but you get the idea. It's like, I'm gonna feel left out when the new console comes out, so I think it's good that Nintendo is doing a thing where they will still support the Switch 1, even probably like years from now, when the Switch 2 is still being a new console relatively. So that's good in my opinion. Yeah. This is like another thing too. But yeah, there were other misconceptions for sure. Just Nintendo, like I said, is not doing a good job of communicating this at all. I've heard only from IGN and other outlets the May 8th thing, by the way. I haven't seen like Nintendo themselves say the anything on social media. Apparently it's on the website, which that's a good place to do it, but I don't know who is going to remember to go to Nintendo.com specifically for the pre-order date.
How do you feel about if you buy from Nintendo, you have to do like you have to do a background check to see if you're actually dedicated enough to get a Switch 2?
What would the background check consist of?
I don't know. I don't know, but they probably look at. I think they.
Do you have a DUI?
Yeah, the Nintendo.
Have you been arrested within the past 2 years? Like, is it that kind of background check? Like, what do you ask me?
I think it's like I think maybe like how many hours you put into a game, but that's just so weird to me.
Well, I would qualify.
Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna. They're gonna be like you, Matthew.
5,000 hours.
Matthew, son, you more than qualified.
Yeah, like I have like other games that are over 1,000 hours too. So I have no life. I even have like some PlayStation games that are like multiple hour ranges, no above like 1,000 hours, but it's up there for some games. Like Fortnite and fucking Minecraft. But yeah, I mean, with Nintendo Switch, like I put a lot of hours into this, and you also have to kind of reconsider as well that I played a lot of the Wii U version too. I think 1,000 hours about maybe. So yeah, I have just in general with both of these games combined, I probably have like 5,000 hours in Mario Kart 8.
We're gonna have to do the math. How long that is?
Oh yeah,
6,000. So
I don't know what my Wii U gamepad is.
6,000 divided by 24. That's 250 days.
250 days?
Yeah. Of non-stop Mario Kart.
That's like almost a year, yeah. Damn.
And divided by 7, that's pretty much around 36 weeks.
Okay.
So.
Oh wow! So this is. So if the NerdVibed podcast was going for every week straight, this is the 37th episode. I would have stopped playing Mario Kart last episode.
Yeah.
Just to do this podcast.
But you were doing it every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day for yeah. That is insane. Yeah.
Full 24 hours.
Full 24 hours, no sleep.
Yep.
Man.
Just Mario Kart.
I wish I was unemployed so I could just do shit like that, where like I could just like do streams of like 24 hours and all that, 12-hour streams. But I'm so very tired every single day. Things to work. I love being an adult so much. So I think that is roughly everything for the Switch 2 discussion. Really. Actually, no. I have another thing to add. Like I said before, if the prices stay the way they are now, I do intend to get the Switch 2 day one. And I know that's a controversial thing to say. I've said things publicly that contradict that. And I'm still kind of iffy about it. But I think, for me personally, it is very worth it to buy the Switch 2 day one for Mario Kart because I'm a huge Mario Kart person. I'm a huge Mario Kart guy. So I think getting the Mario Kart bundle is going to be entirely worth it, in my opinion, in my shoes. So yeah, you will expect to see Switch 2 content relatively within the week or two when the Switch 2 comes out on this channel.
Beware of scalpers.
Yes. I'm going to have to be... Well, I was lucky with the Switch 1 when that came out. I've talked about that story multiple times where I was at Walmart and I saw this fucking douchebag buying 4 Switches in front of everyone. And I just looked at him. I'm sure there's a couple other people in that room too where they're just looking at that guy and they're just being like, this fucking piece of shit.
You probably sold each one on
Probably
eBay
sold
for
one for double the price.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, I'm sure that this day and age, companies like Nintendo and PlayStation are trying to be wary of people like that.
I think that's why I think that's why they're doing like this, like if the qualification if you get from Nintendo to avoid the scalpers.
Yeah.
Probably to see if you have like an actual like Nintendo account and shit like that.
Yeah, I heard something about that. I that's probably the only thing I really didn't look into, actually. To be honest, I don't know anything about that.
But yeah, but I think a lot of people were freaking out that that was like gonna be the only way to pre-order the Switch. It's like, no, they're still gonna sell to other retailers.
This is my first Nintendo console. What am I supposed to do? I just want to play Zelda. What the fuck is this?
Oh man, another misconception was like that when I saw the video about it, I was like. I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right, because that's true. It was like everyone got mad about the Zelda port,
Yeah.
jacking up in price because it's like they're like, oh, it should be free. PlayStation does that for free, and it's like, no, they don't. It's only for select games.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, like, I think, Dead by Daylight's upgrade to PS5 was free, but Shredder's Revenge was not. You had to pay full price for Shredder's Revenge, or where there was like a small discount.
Yeah, and I'm here to tell everybody that honestly, the Zelda Nintendo Switch Online situation for the Switch 2 might be better than PlayStation, because I think I might be wrong about this, but from what I've heard, if you get Nintendo Switch Online for the Switch 2, you basically get those games for free.
You get free games with PlayStation.
Yeah, but those games specifically, like Switch 2 editions of games.
Yeah.
So you get those games for free if you buy a Nintendo Switch Online. Zelda, Mario Party, all of that. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. I might have misheard that too from somewhere. That's what I heard though.
Yeah.
So I think that's only possibly if you have those games on the Switch One though. I don't know entirely at all. But yeah, that's basically all I have for the Switch 2 talk, really. I plan on getting it day one, hopefully, if everything goes right. If the prices rise, which I don't think they will probably necessarily.
Some people think that's a scare tactic.
Yeah, probably is.
Maybe not. We don't.
Yeah, only time will tell. It's less than a month away as of us recording this. So yeah, that will probably do it. If you enjoy, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And I don't know if we will have another podcast next week for like a review or gaming stuff and all that. But yeah, I'll do it.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.